Hello and welcome. By listening to today's sermon, your life will be better on purpose.
It's good to see another day that the Lord has made. Amen. If you would, won't you open your Bibles with me to the book of Proverbs? And as we go to that book, let us look at Proverbs, the 4th chapter. That's Proverbs, the 4th chapter. We can find that book between Psalms and Ecclesiastes. And I'll be reading this morning from the New King James Version. I said version. New King James Version. Starting with verse 20. Starting with verse 20, and you'll see these words or something very similar to it. My son, give attention to my words. Incline your ear to my sayings. Do not let them depart from your eyes. Keep them in the midst of your heart, for they are life to those who find them, and health to all their flesh. Verse 23, keep your heart with all diligence, for out of it spring the issues of life. Put away from you a deceitful mouth, and put perverse lips far from you. Let your eyes look straight ahead, and your eyelids look right before you. And ponder the path of your feet, and let all your ways be established. Do not turn to the right or to the left. Remove your foot from evil. And I want to key in on verse 23 again. Keep your heart with all diligence, for out of it spring the issues of life. And if you allow me for a brief moment on this great Sunday morning to preach from the subject, becoming better on purpose.
All right.
Becoming better on purpose. Y'all know I love this whole Be Better on Purpose movement that I've been a privilege and a part of, and I'm grateful for the whole Be Better on Purpose movement. And pretty much almost everything I try to do now, I try to base it and center it around being better on purpose. From marching towards your purpose, to running towards your purpose, to any other books that will precede those toward their purpose. Being better on purpose have become a movement that I feel God has allowed to start within me and prayerfully spread throughout the entire world. We find ourselves here again receiving our biblical scripture of text in the Word of God through King Solomon's instructions, wisdom, and understanding. How many of you know that your mind is the most powerful tool you have for the creation of good in your life? But if not used correctly, can also be the most destructive force in our lives. Our mind, more specifically, our thoughts affect our perception and therefore our interpretation of reality. I've heard that the average person thinks around 70,000 thoughts a day. 70,000 thoughts a day. That's a lot. Especially if they are negative, corrupt, immoral, and just a waste of energy. When King Solomon says to guard our heart, King Solomon is implying that we are living in a war or a combat zone. One in which there are many casualties. How many of you know that when God gets ready to change someone, God does it by changing how we think? God will change how we think. God changes our thought process. And I believe it to be true that we are the sum total of the thoughts that come in us and the thoughts that go out of us. How often do we catch ourselves saying, I wish I were better at something? I wish I was better at something. Maybe you want to be better at exercising regularly. Maybe you want to be better in your relationships. Just maybe, you want to be better in your career or your job or whatever it is that you do for a living. Maybe some of us would like to be more sociable, more caring, getting and keeping more wealth. But becoming better on purpose at things require, in addition to work, it requires practice, consistency, focus, desire, commitment, determination, and most importantly, commencement. I praise God for the Holy Spirit that gave me the addition that I needed for that on this morning through His servant. It doesn't happen too often that we can immediately get better at something with a trick or a gimmick. However, I think a lot of people don't improve simply because they don't know how. Can I show you a simple strategy?
Yes.
On how to become better on purpose at anything?
Come on, teach us.
You see, this strategy, it requires work.
Okay.
But this strategy can help simplify the process of thinking about improvement. First, somebody say first. First, we must ask, is it a habit or is it a skill? Is it a habit or is it a skill? Most of the things we want to get better at are largely habits, skills, or some combination of the two. Exercising is a habit. Exercise is a habit. Although there are some skills in exercising, that's not the weak link for most people. Most people know how to run. Most people know how to move. And most people know how to work out. The problem, most people just don't do it. Or at least as much as they would like to. When we find ourselves wanting to do something more regularly or consistently, we are really trying to improve a habit. Speaking another language is a skill. We may need a habit of practicing it, but it's not enough to just will ourselves to speak French or Japanese. I don't care how much you meditate on it. I don't care how much you think about it. You can't will yourself to speak French or Japanese. We need to learn how to do it first. when we don't know how to do something, or don't know how to do it well enough, what we are trying to improve is a skill.
Yeah, yeah.
Most things we want to improve will have a mix of habits and skills. Maybe we want to read more books. On the one hand, reading is a habit. We need to read more. And in order to read more, we have to realize there's a skill involved also to reading. You have to understand how vocabulary, fluency, and a subject familiarity all influence how quickly and deeply we can read.
Yeah, yeah.
I remember all those little programs long ago telling you how to read in a minute, you know, how to read real fast and speed reading and all this stuff. We know how to read, but we don't know how to read with excellency yet. So the first step is deciding whether what we are trying to improve is mostly a habit or a skill.
Yeah. All right.
A good rule of thumb is that if our main problem is with doing something we already know how to do, but doing it consistently, that's probably a habit. And if our main problem is not knowing how to do something well enough, that's probably a skill. I want to say that rule again. A good rule of thumb is that if our main problem is with doing something we already know how to do, but doing it consistently, that's probably a habit. If our main problem is not knowing how to do something well enough, that's probably a skill. So how do we get better at habits? Do you know that improving a habit has three main parts? There are three main parts to improving a habit. And first we must formulate the desired behavior. Can somebody say formulate the desired behavior?
Formulate the desired behavior.
We must formulate the desired behavior. The second thing we must do, we must condition the habit. We must condition the habit. And the third thing we must do is maintain it once it has formed. Maintain the habit once it has formed. So we must formulate the desired behavior, condition the habit, and maintain it once it has formed. This first step, formulating the desired behavior, is clearly what we are trying to improve. You see, we want to replace the vague sense of unease that maybe you should be better at something with a decision to improve something specific. A good habit should be something we do regularly. It should happen either every day or after a particular context or trigger, like right after work, every time you speak to someone, when you first wake up in the morning. Or if it's a habit of absence, like quitting smoking, giving up junk food, that should include some concrete alternative to fill the void. Can I give you some examples of improvements into concrete habits? I need to get in shape. So I'm going to exercise for 30 minutes after work every day. The improvement is I need to get in shape. The concrete habit is I'm going to exercise for 30 minutes after work each day. I created a habit to make an improvement. I should read more. So I'm going to read for 10 minutes before I go to bed every night. I should complain less. I should complain less. So for me to complain less, I'm going to limit myself to 3 complaints per week.
All right.
I'm only going to complain on Monday, Wednesday, and Friday. Monday, Wednesday, and Friday, my complaints. You might not want to see me on those days.
All right.
But that's how you make improvements by creating a concrete habit. If you want to improve something, that's something you got to do.
Yeah.
I want to lose weight. So I'm going to limit junk food and high carb meals to 1 day per week. And we call those cheat days now.
Yeah. Uh-huh.
I want to be more organized. I want to be more organized. So what I'm going to do, I'm going to realize that everything has a home. I will put things back in their place once every day.
Yeah.
Growing up, every time my mom come through and I have stuff out, but put that back where you got it from. Put that back where you got it from.
Yeah.
I learned it already. I just did something to not keep it as a part of my process or a part of my daily activities. We know how to put things back where we got them from.
Yeah.
Don't touch it unless you leave it the way you found it. The next step 2 is conditioning the habit.
Yeah.
The next step is to stick with the behavior long enough that it becomes automatic. This requires effort initially. But if we do it right, it should become easier and easier until we are no longer thinking about doing it.
Yeah.
I love to talk about how we say practice make perfect. And I learned during my college days that no, it don't. Perfect practice make perfect.
Okay.
That's it.
So most suggestions for making habits will pick a time period that's easy to commit to, but long enough that the conditional work will be completed and finished. That's the reason today we have all these challenges, like a 5-day no sugar challenge, a 10-day no negativity challenge. You know, if we could break it down to like 5 and 10 and maybe 30 days, those are milestones that we can complete.
Yeah.
You know, that's the reason I like how the school system set up grades. You know, they have, each grade represents a year, but in that year you have semesters. And then they realize semesters might be too long to make an evaluation, so they start breaking them down to like 5-week intervals, and they have these midterms and all these other things, because they realize if you break down things into easily manageable steps, we can condition the habit for it to be what we want it to be. So I want to recommend that we pick an amount of time that seems reasonable. 5 days might not be enough time for you to do something. 10 days might not be enough. Sometimes, you know, some people say it takes 14 days to make a habit. 14 days might not be enough for me. When I've done stuff longer, when I've done stuff, when I know it takes me longer to do stuff because I have it wrapped up, tied up, and tangled up in me so much that I'm fighting to give it up, I might need a 30-day challenge. This past week, Tisa and I did a 48-day fast, 48-hour fast. Excuse me, 48 days. I wouldn't be here right now. A 48-hour fast. And it's nothing new to us. We've done it before. We do it the 3rd week of every month. But every time we get closer to it, anxiety comes within me. I start thinking about, I'm going to have to not eat for 48 hours. So I start saying, as I get closer to that time, I start trying to eat a whole lot of food, because I want to make sure I got enough food in me, so when I go through all that time, it'll be all right. But we have to set those goals to condition our habit. And what happens was, after we complete the 48-hour fast, initially we want to eat a lot of food, because we feel like we missed so much. But when you really think about it, if I've gone 48 hours without eating, I don't have to eat 3 meals a day now. I just went 48 hours without eating meals. So why am I eating 3 meals every day? I'm not hungry 3 times a day like that. So we start conditioning the habit of eating so much, and now I can eat 1 meal a day. If I can get me a good meal, I don't need anything else. Conditioning the habit. And the 3rd point is maintain the habit. Maintain the habit. So we formulate the desired behavior, We condition the habit, and then we maintain the habit. Most habits are stable provided it is subjected to no more than small disturbances. Most habits are stable provided it is subjected to no more than small disturbances. When we was going through our fast for 48 hours, we avoided watching network TV.
Yeah.
I didn't leave the house those 3 days. Not say, well, I think I left, but I didn't really leave and go far away because I don't want to ride by a Chick-fil-A when I'm on a 48-hour fast. I don't want to see a commercial showing some nice desserts and some nice Coca-Cola poured over some cold ice and it's already 90 degrees. See, you have to learn how to avoid those small disturbances that might keep you from maintaining the habit.
That's the truth.
Tisa, she jokes a lot of time how she stays away from the main level of the house because she stays away from the main level of the house. She won't think about the food as much because that's where we keep all the food. So we have to learn how to make sure we avoid small disturbances that might keep us from maintaining the habit that we have created. Exercise is an example of this kind of habit because even if it has become automatic, if you know you go and work out every Tuesday and Thursday, I have yoga at the gym. Thursday morning, I have yoga. Friday morning, I have yoga. If we know we have all this, but all of a sudden somebody start calling you, hey, let's go to lunch on Thursday morning. We have yoga. You miss yoga, so now you got to go to yoga Friday, Saturday, and Sunday to make up for it. We have these. We got to learn how to maintain things that become automatic to us. If you work out every day, Monday, Wednesday, Friday, and Sunday, maybe those are our workout days. But all of a sudden, your boss at work say, we got overtime now. And we need everybody to work every day. Your workout will stop. The habit that you have of going to the gym has been disturbed. So now that you're not going to the gym every day, now your diet is going to change. Because now that you're not going to the gym, you're going to start thinking about all the time you have available. You're working overtime. Now you're eating snacks out of the machine, you're drinking, and things happen. Vacation can mess up a habit. It's no joke, and it's not ironic how churches suffer during the summertime. That's the reason we ask for your tithes in advance before you go on vacation. If you know you're going out of town this week, go on and pay your tithe now. Send your tithe and offering in, because we know vacation will mess up your habit of tithing. Vacation will mess up your habit of coming to church. You go on vacation for 2 weeks in the summer, and then you get back and you tired. Well, I'm too tired to go. Now I just been on vacation. You're going to miss the whole summer of church because of vacation. Overtime work will break a habit without you realizing. You normally get off work at 4 o'clock and you come home and you got your routine of all you do, and now you're getting off at 7 in the evening. All thing you want to do is go home and take a shower and go to bed, because now you got to get back up and go to work the next day and do it all over again. So there are things that will be a small disturbance to keep us from maintaining our habits. So how do we get better at our skills? How do we get better at our skills? This shows how we get better at our habits. How do we get better at our skills? The first step in getting better at our skills is perfected practice. Perfected practice. The first step to getting better at something is to use the skill. If you want to be better at writing, you got to write. If you want to get better at speaking a foreign language, you have to start saying it. If you want to get better at running, you got to put your shoes on and get out and start running. There's 2 styles you can approach with this. And the first one is to improve the skill via a selected project. When I first started running, the first thing Tisa and I did was we paid and registered for a 5K. I wasn't a runner. I didn't know how far 5K really was. I found out it's 3.1 mile, a tenth of a mile. That's a long distance to somebody who ain't ran no farther than from the sofa to the refrigerator.
Yeah.
So we had to get out and start running. Start running short distance. And then we start improving the distance further and further. But we had to practice running. And what was so interesting was we would practice in the house on the treadmill. We would run, but we'd be getting up. I'm like, oh man, this ain't bad. I done ran 5 miles on the treadmill. How many of you know running on the treadmill is not the same as running outside on the streets? It is so amazing. I've driven up certain streets many times. I had no idea that were hills. When you drive up the street, you don't pay no attention to going up a hill, but when you try to run up a hill, boy, I feel like a battle and jump on your back. The second style is we must practice over a longer period of time. This leads us into feedback. Improving the skill is, first we have to attempt something, and then we notice how our attempt differed from our desired idea.
Okay.
Tighter feedback makes things work better. You know, I used to like to get feedback in certain things, and I found out and I realized I was doing this step wrong. If I'm preaching, and I prepare the message and I get up and deliver a message, and when I'm finished with my preaching, why would I ask somebody how was the preaching who has never preached? Or who has never really listened to preaching that was considered to be good? See, a lot of times we get feedback from the wrong person. Why would I ask somebody, am I losing weight? And you're not concerned about your weight? You're not going to really pay attention to me and see if I really lost any weight or not. Because if I have, you're not. Now, you good because you're going to make a focus on yourself now. But now you're going to go and look in the mirror. See, feedback is important. But what's more important is that you get it from the right person that can help you. A lot of times when I get ready to purchase something on Amazon, online, the first thing I want to do after I find the product is look at the reviews. Let me see what people have said who have bought what I'm getting ready to buy. Let me look at and see what the reviews are for what it is I'm trying to accomplish and see how easy. When I first realized I wanted to start running, I said, let me see what running really does for people. Would running really help my body? Would running, you look at reviews, so you need feedback on certain things. I said, what's the best shoe to buy? So Tisa and I went to the store, went down to Fidippides, I think that's how you pronounce it, down in Ansley Mall. And the guy said, let me see how you walk first. I said, what difference does it make how I walk? I'm trying to run. I didn't know how you walk determined how you run. So he looked at me walk for a while, and he said, okay, now let me see you run. So let me see you run. And he was looking at how my feet landed and how if I ran on the balls of my feet, on the heels of my feet, all this stuff, giving me feedback. So he went back to the back and came back with all these different shoes. And he didn't bring back no Nikes. And I'm like, wait a minute now. He don't know I'm a Nike man. I'm Nike. He bought back some Mizuno, those shoes. He bought back some shoes. I said, Mizuno, that's baseball. They make baseball bad.